opener for the Texans. But look, if you remember last year, it wasn't close the first time around. Ended up 41-7 Ravens. You've obviously got two dynamic QBs, but very different supporting casts. Jackson threw for 4 touchdowns, and his defense sacked Watson 6 times. And last week, he showed no signs of a slowdown. He had 3 touchdown passes against the Browns, and all of them came from inside the pocket. Teddy, we talked in week 1 about Lamar Jackson. You were saying, like, man, guys do this sometimes. They have a great year, and then they go and try and fix all this stuff in the offseason. He needs to keep doing what he's doing. I mean, he sure seemed to do what he does best last week and seems better. What did you say?
Yeah, I mean, and we also talked about here the questions of no offseason, no preseason, what kind of rust are certain players going to have. Well, Lamar picked up where he left off because this is MVP form. I don't see why he can't be the MVP again. That's how good he looked. I know it's only week 1, but the problems for defenses that he poses, it's incredible because defensive coordinators I can see. When he starts to take off, go get him because he's going to run. But it's just not that way. He's at poise. That posture right there, you see that, take off and get him right? No. He resets. He looks downfield, adds a little pump fake in there. So me as a defender, so you're telling me, Coach, now I got to stay back? I got to stay back until he crosses the line of scrimmage. And then when he hits that line of scrimmage, Coach, he's at full speed. So that type of problem is what he is now because you have to respect his patience. The way he's not just looking to run like that. He's still looking downfield. He'll add the pump fake, and then he's gone. Incredible. So much problems for defensive players.
So, Rex, what do you do if you're the D coordinator for the Texans?
I'm not getting paid enough to tell you that answer. You know, the terrible thing is, one of my former players is the new defensive coordinator with the Houston Texans, Anthony Weaver. Here's all he's got, his first 2 opponents. Let's see, Patrick Mahomes, week 1. And just when you think, well, it can't get worse than that. Oh, yes, it can. Here comes Lamar Jackson. I mean, this is ridiculous. And when I see it right here, you're right. I mean, what do you, if you stay back and give one-on-one coverages, he's going to beat you with his arm. All right? If you go to get him, now he outruns you. You know, he can do all those type of things. He improvises. He does all that stuff. So, you know, the math doesn't work. You know, on defense, you usually have an extra defender against the run and things, right? 11 on 11. But against his quarterbacks, that's what it is. And you don't have a guy in your team that can tackle this guy one-on-one.
You're adding a power running game, too. That you have to worry about.
So you're
on your
fair.
Toes defensively to stop the run, but oh, my God.
But listen, those are the obvious things, but today they can't forget about the tight ends, specifically Mark Andrews. Lamar Jackson, we talk all about the obvious things. We don't talk about the fact that this guy is number 1, the best quarterback in the NFL at throwing to the tight ends. He's number 1 in yards. He's number 1 in touchdowns to tight ends, better than anybody else. And then Mark Andrews, he's number 1 in the NFL since last year in touchdown catches for any position. So whatever your game plan is, however you want to die a slow death, you want to die a quick death, you can't let it be Mark Andrews. That's really an unspoken key for this Baltimore offense. And for some reason, people seem to, week after week, forget about him.
You know, when I look at the bigger picture for the Baltimore Ravens, I know they're going deep in the playoffs, but I think one of their Achilles heel is their big playability. Last week, you kept hearing me beat up the wide receivers, the playmakers on the outside. You can't forget about Boyd, the other tight end today for the Baltimore Ravens. But when I look at their outside weapons, when I look at Snead, when I look at Brown, yes, they come up and make plays early. Last week, they each had a touchdown. But when I look at the bigger picture for the Baltimore Ravens, I look for them down the field because of the teams in the AFC with the firepower. Today, the Texans, they have the same type of firepower because you can't forget about Fales and Aiken for the Houston Texans. But they had some new additions this offseason, too. Hopkins gone. Who do they bring in? They bring in
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb. So when I look at the game like this, it's all about the outside wide receivers, mainly for Baltimore. Teddy, you make a great point talking about Lamar Jackson. I talked about Lamar Jackson's accuracy last year. He proved me wrong. Now I think it's for them to move her in a bigger picture, being able to get the outside playmakers, the ball, get it to them often so they can have the confidence that you need in those type of guys later in the season.
You know what's really scary? We haven't said one word about the defense. Yeah. This is probably the best defense in the National Football League. Statistically, it is the best defense in the league since they acquired Marcus Peters. So to me, it's like you talk about a complete team. That's what's scary. Because usually you're like hoping that offense can get it going, so you don't have to be on the field all day.
Deshaun Watson's got to be Superman, and I just don't know if he can. I mean, Will Fuller as a #1 wide receiver, I just don't see it. I mean, he can't stay healthy, and without someone else being there that we as a defense have to respect. I mean, Hopkins and Fuller, when they were together, you had your over-the-top threat in Fuller, and then you had Hopkins, who, of course, is outstanding. But is Will Fuller a one-trick pony? Is what I'm trying to say is all I got to do is put somebody over the top, and he's not going to do anything else. He has got to come up and stay healthy for this team.
The Texans better get ready for man coverage today. They're going to be in their face for 4 quarters. They better get ready for man coverage.
If I'm a Texans fan listening to this conversation, I am depressed. Because before the game, what we're saying is a lot of problems and really no solutions. I will give them a glimmer of hope. That game last year, of course, when it was a blowout, J.J. Watt didn't play in that game. And if you watch the right tackle for the Ravens in week 1, he didn't have a great game last week. So maybe if J.J. Watt can get after Lamar Jackson, I mean, good luck.
Watt got to play
Can't
huge.
get a sack on a run play.
Watson got to play huge in Fuller.
I'm trying to give the people some hope, okay?
I just can't
let it happen. I think that's O.J. Howard in there. Maybe, sort of. Yeah.
Another touchdown for him,
We're going to go
Sam.
with it. As he gets ready to take on the
tight ends,
Panthers with Godwin out, maybe more eyes on him for more receptions today. Our Adam Schefter's ready.
Trade talks, and also coming up,